The woke CEO for Harley-Davidson, Zeitz, is no longer the CEO and running the ship. Now it's Artie Starrs. And is he really the right pick for this position? And is he ready for it? Let's chat about that, and I'll tell you what I think and what I found out about him. Hello and welcome to Road Rush Nation. I'm Tara, your host here, and thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you're a member of the nation, thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to me. And if you'd like to be a member of the nation, it's free. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. If you recall, there was a big turmoil at Harley-Davidson, and Zeitz, the previous CEO, who was from Germany and was the president of Puma, who turned their ship around, came over and was going to fix things for Harley. Now, he took over at a tough time because it was during COVID and plants were being shut down, people were being told to stay home, you know, we went through all that craziness. So that was a little difficult. But then afterwards, the Harley community got to see the real Zeitz, and a lot of it was the woke policies, you know, and how they're treating the family-run franchises, and there's just a lot of not so great feelings. And a lot of people started to say, I'm done with Harley, we're walking or riding to the competition. So Zeitz is gone. There was a lot of pressure from the board, there was a lot of inside turmoil going on with the executive board, and they said, no more. Now, Zeitz is still there, so he is actually on the board and still an advisor, which I think is good and bad. You really sometimes don't want people who have not been successful at the position to stay, because it can cause some turmoil. But he is smart. He did take a company like Puma, but it was in Germany, totally different product, and turned it around. So I get why they would probably still want his input. So then they decide, let's go out and get a new guy. And maybe we should get an American that understands what American brand really means and how your biggest market, which is the United States, needs to be helped out. So they hired Artie Starrs. And this guy seems pretty positive. You know, we thought, oh, this is gonna be great, right? Well, I did some digging and I found some what I will call red flags going off right away. So let's do some investigating, and let me show you what I discovered about Artie Starrs that I consider red flags. Now, first of all, in the world we live in now with CEOs and people at that executive level, most of them are staying just a couple of years. They make some bank, then they take the golden parachute when things aren't going well, and they go on to the next adventure. I've experienced that with my own employer. Watched the original owners didn't want anything to do with the company anymore. We'd lost a couple due to death because they'd had the company for so long. And then the board of directors brought in a new guy, seemed really smart, but ran things in the ground because he had no idea what the industry that we were working in and the dynamics of it, and it caused a lot of problems. And a lot of us said, he was setting us up to be bought out by another company. Fast forward, that happened. He left after just a couple of years. He wasn't there very long, took the golden parachute, and boom, onto somebody else and set it up so that we could get bought. And we did get bought. And I've seen the problems when you bring in people who have no idea, no experience in the industry you're working with, and think that they can just, it's the same thing every place else. Meh, not really. So I say that only because one of the things I look for is first, how long have you been with some company, and what is going on with that company you left? So here was the first red flag. Artie Starrs comes from Topgolf. And if you're not familiar with Topgolf, it's basically a driving range with a bar. And it was very successful for a while because it was a novelty, something new. People would take their, maybe your work teams there, and you go there and you hit some golf balls, and you know, everybody gets drunk, has a good time. It's at a bar. It was supposed to be set up as a little bit elitist, so to speak. You're bringing in those younger people, trying to get them set up. And what happened is when it first started off, it was going great. And then Callaway, the golf club, the golf company, I should say, partnered up, and it became Callaway Topgolf, excuse me, I'm going to say that wrong, which is great, right? Except that, I discovered going into my research that Topgolf and Callaway just recently split. I ran across a video where this guy who's a businessman, he's not into golf, he's into a business, just goes in and looks at certain companies, and it was rather interesting to see what is happening currently, which tells me a lot of why Artie left Topgolf. But Callaway says, we're done. I want to say the sales are down 40%, the stock is down, and now they've got these things that are not doing so well. It's like, okay. Now, the other thing that about Topgolf, him coming from Topgolf, that I wasn't impressed with is this is not a manufacturing business. This is an entertainment type business. It's something like, oh, we've got a facility here. We're not manufacturing. They're not manufacturing anything. They're providing, basically, it's miniature golf on steroids for adults. That's how I looked at it. And it'll run its course, and I think pretty much Topgolf has run its course. So that was my first worry. Then I go, okay, so where was he at before that he's got all this great experience, maybe with manufacturing? Because if any of you have worked in manufacturing, you know it's got its issues, its quirks that you have to understand. Suppliers, your vendors, and that turnaround period, transportation. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with it. Anyway, so I thought, okay, Topgolf. He was only there for about 3-4 years as the president. So he's been in there as it's been going downhill. Didn't turn the ship right, but it's going downhill, and pop smoke, I'm out. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Well, Pizza Hut. Okay, it's pizza. He was the president of Pizza Hut. Now, Harley emphasized, oh, he understands franchisees because he's worked with these businesses that deal with franchising. Harley is different. We have a community. We're not just, oh, let's go eat pizza. You don't have pizza night. You don't have your customers coming in like you do for Harley's. He was with Pizza Hut for almost 8 years. So he started out like a CFO. So he started out in the financial and worked his way up into the top pizza guy. Okay, that's not bad. Not great, but it's pizza. So that's telling me again, you don't have the experience of manufacturing, especially globally. So Topgolf, he's been with 4 years. Pizza Hut, he was with 8. And before that, he worked with Rave Motion Cinema, which is basically movie theater. Again, another industry that went. Pizza Hut has gone too. Is not what you would call grandiose. So, ooh, Pizza Hut's making lots of money. You don't see a Pizza Hut everywhere. It's a review of him. I didn't find anything that stood out as it says, oh man, that company did really good. Their profits were way up. The consumer really looked at him in a positive way, and so on. I haven't seen any of that in those. So that was my first red flag. Oh, disappointment that I see a train wreck coming. You know how you sit there and you go, this don't look good, and here's why. So putting the business piece aside, which gave me kind of uneasy feelings, I bet you he must know something about the biking community, because we're so different. It's a lifestyle. We have our rallies, we have our bike nights, we have our rides we do for charity, and somebody has to understand that to really bring it along and build that enthusiasm and understand our franchise, understand those family-owned dealerships that Zeitz was trying to push out and make just for, here's an automotive group that's going to do this. Who wants to go into a car dealership and you don't feel like you're really welcome? Now, the people that work at these places are great, don't get me wrong, but it ain't quite the same. Okay, so with all that put aside, he's got to understand us, the consumer, you, the rider, you, the one that's thinking about buying a bike. Why would you buy it? You've got to understand, hey, we've got our bike rallies, we have our bike nights, we have our loyalty to our dealership that we go to constantly, we have our charity rides. You kind of have to understand, you need to understand how we feel about riding and the whole experience of it. So and you have to understand too what Zeitz tried to do with our dealerships and pushing out the family-owned ones. Yeah, we need somebody that understands this. So I thought, oh, I bet you he's got to be a rider. Well, not so much. What I discovered, and Starr is from the San Antonio area, if you go on to Maverick Harley-Davidson's Facebook page, I discovered that Artie Starrs hadn't owned a bike until recently. He just took the rider entry course in May, which tells me he has no idea what it's like to be out riding. He's just a beginning rider. So you know how we used to love to say, oh, when the Harley family was really into and being part of Harley-Davidson, and you'd have these big rides with maybe Willie, and you can't do that with this guy. There's no way I'm going to be take a ride with somebody who just got there. No offense to beginners, but it's a little scary when you take a beginner out and you're riding with all those years of doing his stuff with Pizza Hut and Topgolf. Nope, no bikes involved there, and nothing in his personal life. What was it, August? Harley announced that he was he was just getting his rider's permit. He didn't even have a bike yet. So let's decide, what kind of bike are you gonna get? So he did pick out a bike, and he finally got it just here in August. So, and as you can see from the pictures, he got a Heritage. Great bikes, love Heritage, but that's not your top selling bike. Our top selling bikes are the touring bikes, so you already know his skill level's not there. And as a CEO, he's not gonna have time to go out and ride like we do and say, I just need to learn this thing. It's a gimmick. In my opinion, it's a gimmick. Don't tell me you're a rider when you don't ride. Zeitz, he was a writer, not to the extent that we would have all liked, but at least he had that experience. To me, he was the elitist writer, and that's kind of how I see Artie Starrs. And what I mean by elitist writers is you'll find people with money that go out and buy a bike and they'll say, oh, look what I have, and then it sits in the garage just to say it's there, it's a novelty. So my other big red flag is he's not a rider. He's just got a bike. He's not going to be taking group rides with us. He's not going to say, hey, let's go out with the president of the company and let's go riding. I would not want to ride with him being a new rider. You know that the best way to improve a rider's skills is put the time in the seat. He's not going to have time to do that. He is going to be so focused on trying to learn manufacturing, all the issues that Harley is having and what's going on. I see this as a train wreck. I think it's great that he decided, let me go out and see if I can learn how to ride this. But I bet you any amount of money, that bike has probably less than 100 miles on it. So I would bet he is not out riding that bike. That's just my perspective. That's just my intuition. So I see this as another disaster. I think he'll last maybe 2 years. We're going to see Harley go down again because the learning curve is going to be too much for him. He's not going to understand us, the riding community. I don't see it. Now, I hope I am completely wrong, but I don't see it. I think he's probably a great guy. I'm not saying he's not a great guy. I'm just saying experience doesn't understand us, the riding community. When you come from Pizza Hut and Topgolf, it's not the same. So let me know what you think. Do you think this guy's gonna turn it around? I'm giving the guy a chance. Don't get me wrong, I'm giving him a chance. But I don't see him understanding the problems, even with the new bikes that have been brought out, that you need to stick around and subscribe because I'm going to tell you some secrets about what Harley's been doing with the disaster of the new bike. It's not all rosy. It's things to be aware of. Anyway, thank you again. Hopefully you found this kind of interesting, makes you start thinking, maybe watch what's happening, what's going on with Harley. Again, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to be a member of the nation, remember, it's free. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell. Ride safe, and I hope to catch you on the highways.